here is my hot take for today. The most powerful niche that you can have in 2026 has absolutely nothing to do with choosing an industry. And I know that goes against everything that you might have heard. And if you've ever felt like you should niche down, but nothing feels quite right, or if you have niched down, but you're kind of questioning it, this episode is going to explain why and give you a better way to do this. And when you finish listening, check out my interview with Alyssa Schneider. It was at episode 122, where we talk about how she does not niche by industry at all and what she does instead, so you can get a more complete example of this concept. So when it comes to niching, I totally agree with the fundamentals. Specificity matters, and this positioning fog is a really big reason why done-for-you service providers have trouble finding clients. When you can't clearly articulate what you do and who it's for, it's extra difficult to attract the right clients. But here is where the conventional advice of that you can just pick an industry, like I am a VA for coaches, why that just doesn't work anymore in 2026. It's because most service providers are getting specific about the wrong things. The traditional niching advice is to pick an industry. I work with coaches. I work with e-commerce brands. I work with real estate agents. Totally fine. That's not wrong. As an OBM, I focused on working with what I call soulpreneurs. These are the health, wellness, and spiritual entrepreneurs. But in 2026, with how saturated things are, with how people are more careful in how they're spending their money, how they're hiring, that's just not enough on its own. And on top of that, it doesn't actually get you what you want, which is those premium aligned clients. Because what happens is this. You do all the things that you were told to do. You pick the niche, you get specific, and you still look exactly like every other VA OBM done-for-you service provider offering the same service to the same type of client. I help coaches with X. Great. This is not a differentiation. This is you putting yourself into a bucket, into a category. And it's one of the most common things that I see in my free business audits that I do. A lot of VAs and OBMs come to me and they're indistinguishable from everybody else that does the same thing. So I'm going to give you a few real life examples of how to do it differently from some of my clients. So let's go with the first one. So this client is really introverted. She does her best work when she has space. She doesn't feel good being constantly on, and that's not how she operates the best. So she needs a client relationship that doesn't require her to be available and responsive every hour of the day. And this is a thing that she thought was a negative, and she didn't really talk about it before because she followed the advice of leading with your services and nothing else. And when we were working together, this is when she started putting this introverted side directly into her messaging as a feature, not a bug. She became so clear that she works best with clients who respect her deep focus time, and they are going to get amazing work. And these are clients who also value, let's say, not being bothered, right? These are clients who value this thoughtful delivery, and they don't want somebody who's going to go like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And because of this, because now she's featuring this part of herself and it's unique and different and really true to her, now she's attracting the right type of clients faster. She didn't niche by industry. She filtered her clients by how she works and who she is, and which is really cool. There is another client who built her brand around being human first in an AI obsessed world. This is her thing, right? She genuinely believes that human judgment and connection are irreplaceable in her work. And she's a systems person, by the way. And so it's really cool to see this. And the people that she wants to work with share those same values. So when they see her things, when they find her, they are like, yes, you are mine, because we know there is a big divide. And there are some people who are really passionate on one side or the other. So now when she is vocal about this, she is aligning with people who feel the same and she is standing out. And this is all before they even had a conversation. So again, now she has aligned clients. Now they come faster. Also doesn't niche by industry. She niches by her belief system. And this does the filtering to easily attract her dream clients. And the last one. This one is cool because this one is both industry and lifestyle. So she works with website and brand designers who are moms. So yeah, industry and lifestyle. The reason it works for her is not just because she's like, ooh, there's a lot of moms out there. No, it's because she's a mom and she's really passionate about helping other moms. She understands the mental load. She understands the creative pressure, the identity shifts, the specific way that time works when you have kids in a way that people like me would never understand. And you can feel that in her marketing. You really, really can feel that. So you can see from these 3 examples that these are the types of things that get VAs and OBMs to stand out from everybody else. Because a niche is not just a category anymore. It's not a list of the type of clients that you accept. It is a filter. And really, and this is at the risk of sounding like a 2020 boss babe, it's a magnet, right? It helps you to become more magnetic. And it's really, really, really powerful. So here are the 3 questions that you can ask yourself and you can incorporate into your marketing, into your messaging, into when you talk about your offers so you can do the same thing. 1 is, who are you? 2 is, how do you work? And 3 is, what do you believe? Because when those things are visible in your messaging, you are not just describing your service. You are describing a working relationship, a personality, your values. And you've immediately now piqued the interest of the people who resonate with those things. And now you stand out head and shoulders above everybody else who is still just talking about what they do and who they do it for. They are resonating with you. They are feeling a connection to you, and that's what you want. Very, very few done-for-you service providers talk about these things. So when you do it, that means that you are so far ahead, and that's really awesome. And so that means an easier time attracting clients, better clients because they vibe with you because you like them, longer retention time, less scope creep, less of this invisible drain that comes from constantly adjusting yourself to fit somebody else's personality and expectations. And the most powerful positioning just doesn't describe what you do. It signals what it's like to work with you and who you are as a human. And by the way, this is not me saying that you get to be vague about your services. You don't get to pass on that either. You still need to be very clear on what you deliver, on your framework, on who benefits from it, on your outcomes. That's not negotiable. But this additional values-based positioning, it doesn't replace that clarity, but it amplifies everything that you do. And so overall, what I want you to take away from this is that if your messaging stops at, I help X do Y, and your perspective is nowhere to be found in there, you are just going to blend in with everybody else who does the exact same thing, and that makes finding clients that much harder. In 2026, standing out is not about having the most specific service in the most niched industry. It's about having a specific point of view. And the amazing thing about this is that it is so much more sustainable in the long run because you get to be you. You get to talk about your values, your beliefs, your point of view. You easily find more to talk about when you are more human in your marketing. It's way more fun. And again, you really get to be you and not put on some weird mask that you thought you had to put on in order to be successful in this industry. You don't. And it's not just about your marketing. Obviously, marketing is a big piece of it, but it's also about attracting that aligned client and the work that you do with them. So if you are listening and you are thinking, I don't actually know, I'm not very clear on what my values are. What is this? I don't know where to start. I invite you to think about your best clients, the ones where it felt easy, where communication was smooth, where you didn't find yourself constantly adjusting to them. What did they have in common? What was it about their personality that vibed with yours? What was it about the working style that you got to do in between you and your client? What was it about the beliefs between them, between you? What was it about how this working relationship felt? And pull that out, and that could be a piece of it. And now if you're thinking, well, I have no idea how to figure that out, or my messaging has never quite sounded the way that I wanted it to, then you need to hop on this free business audit. I am going to show you where your time or money is leaking, what's capping your income, and what needs to shift so you can grow. And often that is how you talk about what you do. And so you can grab a spot through the link in my show notes. And if you want to actually build this into your business in a real way, that is what expansion is. It's my 4-month one-on-one coaching experience where we get to take all of this and build from it. We put you in your business to create a core offer, a signature framework, and a marketing system. We work on your positioning, your offers, your messaging, the whole structure, your foundation of how you work and who you work with. So your business is supporting who you really are, and it is so sustainable. And it's not just about some random industry that you have been trying to fit into. So check that out in my show notes as well. And so to bring it all together, industry niching still works. I am not saying throw that away. You don't have to do that. And it's not the full picture anymore. The real question is not just about who you serve. It's about who you are, how you work, and what you believe. And that is what actually connects people. And it's really, really beautiful. That's what makes them choose you over everybody else who does the same thing. That's what makes you attract your actual aligned clients who you love working with. And that's what makes your business a whole lot easier to run and to grow. And that is all I have for this episode. So I would love to connect with you on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Threads. Send me a message and tell me what you got out of this episode, if it sparked anything. And I hope to see you on a business audit or inside of expansion. That's a wrap on today's episode. And thank you so much for listening. If anything we talked about today made you think, okay, well, what does this actually look like in my business? That's exactly what a free business audit is for. In just 45 minutes, I'll help you identify your unstructured expertise, pinpoint what's keeping you capped, and map out what your signature method could look like. There's a link in the show notes to grab your spot, and I will see you in the next episode.